Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we have a match on the map FTL with Zlo versus Xfactorlive. Xfactorlive currently playing Cortex in red, not yet deciding on his factory. Another thing of note here is, as you can see, Xfactor building solars. This map has no wind whatsoever, and therefore means that it's going to be very metal heavy building all of those solars. His opponent Zlo today playing Armada, actually, already queuing up that bot lab, and I expect both players to probably go bot, although Xfactor actually going vehicle here. The reason why I presumed both players would go bot is due to the metal. It's going to require quite a lot of metal to build all of the solars you're going to need for energy, so going something metal heavy like Xfactor is doing here is going to mean he's going to have less metal for his unit production. But this does give Xfactor the ability to build scouts, which what both players are currently going for right now. And let's take a quick zoom out on the map to get you a bit of a look. So we have seen this map before a couple of times. There is a geo on these points on the map. Generally not often used, so not really worth writing home about. But the key part here is this middle section here can only be accessed by aircraft. And then this section here provides great coverage for plasma-based weaponry down the hill below. So it is quite an important place to defend, because most combat tends to go through this middle channel with flanking attacks going left and right. Now you can see Xfactor here has been able to build down the edge with his commander, meaning he's going to be able to secure these 3 metal points fairly easily. And this map is also quite choke pointy, as you can see here. To enter the opposing team's bases, you've just got to go through this little tiny channel here, and if you can secure that, even if they get through there, they've then got to go up the ramp. So it's quite difficult to destroy your opponent's base on this. Most of the fighting will take place on the outskirts. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a great bombing run opportunity here from along the top, and that is used very often, with no kind of coverage being able to be had up here. So it doesn't surprise me if we're going to see some bombing aircraft take place at some point. Also, as of note, the radar is going to be somewhat troublesome here. There's a lot of high ground areas, which is going to make placing radars quite difficult, because if a radar gets built down here, it is not going to be able to see up on this top high ground, so quite difficult. And early game so far, both players just kind of taking it easy, not really harassing each other or applying too much pressure to either person right now. Expansion-wise, Xfactor is only just slightly in the lead, and that's purely down to the fact that he was able to build his 3 metal extractors on the side of his base with his commander. But now his commander is kind of not really doing too much, going back to assist the factory, and that's exactly what Zlo's doing. He's keeping his commander in base, building more energy. Now, another thing you could say is that bots require more energy, which is going to require you more to put more metal into solars in order to build, which is very true. But normally in a game, as you're aware, the limiting factor is metal. So that's why I was saying about Xfactor's choice here. In sizes, though, very great. They trade very favorably into pawns. So as long as you're not getting them flanked. Currently, though, Zlo in very good control of the map. He's also seeing here, he's got these guys to sit there And he actually has his engineer back here, or construction bot, planned to just go up here and claim this section. And LLT there ready, which is pretty ballsy. But Xfactor not really applying pressure there at all. Deciding instead to apply some pressure to the bottom, which is really far away for his units to have to travel. And I'm not quite sure if that is enough pawns to deal with that many incisors. It'll be close. With the LLT there, I think it'll be enough. Yes. Very much so. The incisors were so spread out that they all took flanking damage and was able to be destroyed super quickly. And look, there was only 1, 2, 3 pawns for 5 incisors. Tremenda. Why he never boost. Guessing he didn't tell his commander to assist. What he probably did is he accidentally clicked repair on the thing that was building at the time. So he went to walk there and then accidentally repaired rather than assists. That's probably what happened. But economy wise, everything's looking in Slow's favor right now. Slow, who, if you don't know, is actually a very high skilled FAF player. He's Forged Alliance Forever, those who don't know what that is. And has his own YouTube channel where he does a lot of Supreme Commander content. He is Russian, so if you don't speak Russian, you're not going to understand a word he says, but still been around for a very long time in the FAF community, and it's very well known, so it's good to see people from different games starting to spread out and play different RTS games. Xfactor being quite passive here, I would say. Made 1 attack and lost all of his units, and basically hasn't been back since. Yes. What about your commander? We're looking. He's assisting. What are we looking at, Xfactor? So, meanwhile, looking at the map, Slow has full control over well over half the map here. Middle section not quite under full control, but it's enough to, you know, cause problems. Xfactor really struggling for applying any pressure anywhere. The forces that he's got at the top aren't really enough to write home about here. All it requires is, like, you know, 1 RT truck to come out of here, 1 Wolverine, and that will be sufficient enough to deal with all of this. The LLTs died pretty quickly to the standard tanks, the brutes. So what we could see, which might be quite fun, is airlifting some units. If he brings over, builds an aircraft, builds the air transport, and puts like artillery up on that high ground, that is going to cause some problems for Slow. And Slow is actually going air himself and starting to airlift things as well. Oh, missed this move at the top though, and that front line now completely destroyed. And this is going to give Xfactor a good opportunity here to start pushing and applying some pressure. Pounders do tremendously versus the pawns. Simultaneous pressure along the bottom here. Xfactor wasn't really in position with the pounder when he went in, and that was not the greatest of attack. And this is the thing with pounders, they are horrifically slow. But early gunships coming out. This is quite a few gunships, 2 of them, and 1 going back here. Not quick enough on the reactions of building anti-air to make an impact here. Missile trucks have come out, which will deal with them pretty quickly, but this is going to be some good harass. Also, a bomber coming out. I don't think a single bomber is going to be enough to deal with the solars. It will take out the metal extractor. Oh, and one solar. This construction vehicle down here is slowly going to get killed by the looks of it. It does manage to get the metal extractor before it dies, but it does end up getting killed. And it kind of looks like Xfactor doesn't really care. He's just going to go in anyway. Very ballsy. Not even getting any of his air himself slow, actually, though, at the moment. Look how much metal he's got stockpiled. Pretty dangerous to have that much metal just sat around. An air transport up here as well. I wonder why, where that's going. I'll have to have that look at that in a second. It might be that it's got something on it. It will be interesting to see what happens. Then the bottom corner completely secured. Where's this air transport? Here it is. It has a pawn in it. A single pawn. What a dastardly move. And here come more bombers. Will cause issues for Xfactor. He's actually had to reclaim his vehicle lab here to get the air lab up as quick as possible. This pawn is actually just looks like it's going around shooting the solars purely to shut them down. He didn't actually go for the kills on those. Shuriken did manage to stun that pawn. It's not that big a deal. The worrying thing right now for Slow is this push has completely destroyed the bottom side. Not enough pounders here, really. Well, actually, looks like the two that were in the rear turned up just in time to deal with all of these pawns. Also, one thing of note is when these pounders hit, they're completely annihilating the pawns, leaving no wreckage whatsoever. And Zoe really needs to change his plan. Really struggling with energy. He's investing so much into air right now that he's kind of made a bit of a mistake, as he has nothing really left to defend. Xfactor choosing not to push in too far here, which is surprising. Oh, that's what we're looking for. Lab, air vehicle. Oh, sorry, completely all over the place today. Land factory, vehicle factory has now been built, and Janices are pouring out. Janice is quite squishy. Surprised there's no stouts there to support, but the amount of damage that Janices do is not to be sniffed at. But Slope's commander here, not in a great position. 62% health. It will be enough of amount of damage, though, to force Xfactor back. But Xfactor transitioning over to bots instead is going to limit his options, because he's probably going to have to go thugs to get past all of these LLTs now. And that pawn that dropped didn't really do much. That pawn could have come and killed both of these, could have killed that radar, could have like sat right here and started killing all of these. But no, he just kind of ran it past, and then that was it. Oh, there's enough. This construction bot that got in the middle now, building all of these nettles, is going to be enough to shut down any air force that Xfactor was trying to get. And Slow has a pretty decent air force right now, going for even more bombers, it seems. And the Janisses are slowly chasing down these pounders. And the Resbot's getting full reclaim here. 1.6k metal. That is a lot of reclaim. There's also 1.3 down here that Xfactor is desperately trying to get. Bombers will not manage to get all of the Resbots. Xfactor doing some good micro here, managing to dodge, but there's only so much they're going to be able to dodge. And there go most of them. This game's kind of going a bit all over the place. Seems now Xfactor decided I'm just going to eat everything that's there because he's not got much time left on that bottom side, which is the right move. But problem for him right now is he has no air control, he has no land control, and there are so many Janisses down here that he kind of needs something to like eat a shot or two, like send a scout forward or something so that all the Janisses fire on the single target. They are set to fire at will, so that will happen, and then that's when you rush in with your army. But having no air control is causing Xfactor a lot of problems. Xfactor as well. Look how much metal he's got. He's just sat on a bunch of metal right now. Not really able to do anything about it. So much so that he actually had to build a metal storage. Don't see that built very often in a 1v1. And Zlo actually deciding here to transition over to Tech 2. 16 minutes in. This is kind of the right time to do it. And the bombing runs have stopped now. Be interesting to see if he plans any more bombing runs. I just have one bomber, but there's not much in the way of air defense still for Xfactor. Like, you'd expect him to maybe build a couple of like AAs over here just to stop any form of landing attempt again, because he's not defending against that whatsoever now. And Xfactor is doubling down on the bots here, choosing not to transition to Tech 2 himself. Xfactor is pretty good with his economy right now. Oh, he's reclaiming the bot lab now. He's probably about to transition then to Tech 2. He's got the metal storage so he can have the storage for it all, and then he's going to go to Tech 2. He says, but instead he's actually building 2 energy storages. Well, just proves I was wrong. Spybot down the bottom, though, will cause Xfactor some problems when he actually does get a factory up. Xfactor, what are you doing? Slow really struggling on energy, as we saw there briefly. But economy-wise, everything is in the blue right now. There we go. Finally, the Tech 2 factory gets built. And we've got a mixture between welders and hounds. Welders with not enough energy to currently fire, which will cause problems. Interestingly enough, Slow not upgrading any of his economy to Tech 2 yet. Purely because he doesn't really have the energy. So if he goes, he's just doing it now. But this advanced metal extractor will cause him a little bit of problems because he's going to use more energy to run, which when he has no energy is a problem. Which you can see he's building all of these advanced solars to deal with that. Now, one good thing about basic solars is that obviously they cost no energy to build. So if you've got excess metal, they're the thing to build. And you can just reclaim them at any point and not really run into any problems. So pretty much as a metal bank. Once you have enough of these advanced solars up, you're good to go. But you can see here with 20 energy required to run one of these, you're basically talking like one basic solar for each advanced metal extractor. So you are going to need enough energy, and with him not even having enough energy for the welders to fire, That was a bit of a problem. Interestingly enough, though, Xfactor going for a completely different strategy here. He has no units. He has literally built his factory, built his construction box, and has reclaimed the factory to get his economy up. You don't often see this in a 1v1. It's quite often a tactic used in, you know, team games. But this is risky. He doesn't have much in the way of combat units. And now with this hound up here, can you even see that? Not enough to shoot it. Spybot's view is of all of those laser towers. He can't impede all of that, which is a bit of a problem. But this is a substantial chunk of forces there. In the middle, not too much, mostly pawns, to be honest with you. Some welders and hounds, but not that big a deal. The X-Factor massively falling behind in army value right now, with 188% army value difference. And X-Factor desperately needs some units out. But literally what we were speaking about earlier on, Tech 1 solars here are basically being used as metal storages. As you can see, now he's got this fusion up. He's like, right, I'm going to eat all of these solars. Let's get that metal back and turn it into units. And surprisingly, going for an aggressive move here of building the termites. These are all-terrain units. He's clearly going to use them to go up here and deal with all of this bit at the top, and probably also to go up into the middle. But this is not really a very defensive unit. They're not going to help against these units down at the bottom. So we can't really invest too much into those. But Slow massively in control of this game. An X-Factor building an energy converter already. We're going to see how quick this economy changes here. Even the res bots are getting eaten. That's how desperate he is for metal right now. Very bold choice. You often see res bots kept around even if they're not in use. But clearly he needs metal that much that he's just going to eat everything he possibly can to get this economy up. And to be fair, it is working. Look at the difference. He's gone from being massively behind to now 22% behind. Metal produced, there is an 8k difference. But he is catching up. Not only that, but Slow is now aware that X-Factor is Tech 2. And because of that, he looks like he's now going to start applying some pressure on the bottom. It's good to slowly, well, finally try and clear off this top bit. He needs to get those air defenses down, though, so he can deal with the gunship that's coming across. Huh. We also see recluses coming out from Slow. Slow really struggling with his energy, though, at the moment. As he's been basically stalling on energy this entire time. And now that top side's pretty much cleared out. That hound's managed to stay alive, though. X-Factor still building termites, which is interesting. No fighters going to deal with the gunships either, though. Which now with the AA gone, I'm kind of surprised about that as well. But bottom left side has now been destroyed, slowly making his way in. These termites are getting destroyed as well. fighters are finally coming in to clear up the gunships, but it's a little too late now as the termite gets taken out. And Xfactor, he's going to struggle. He needs to pull these guys back very quickly. This is a lot of construction power to just kind of leave to go right into your enemy's main army. Really. It's not going to work. Xfactor, no! Oh, he pulled it back in time. Thank goodness. Oh, he's trying to build it for the 3rd time. I don't think that's going to work, Xfactor. And the fact that Slow's actually managing to resurrect the defenses there is not looking good at all for Xfactor. His economy is now ahead, although only briefly, but he's caught up very, very quickly. And honestly, he needs to switch out the termites. The termites are okay, right? Don't get me wrong, the termites are okay. But against the main army like this, termites are not really quick enough. He needs better forces. And although they do a good job of being able to basically travel anywhere, they're not going to really be able to deal with the range that the hounds are going to have. And the hounds are just going to be able to outrange him. He is heavily ecoing though. And here we go. Finally, a switch from away from them to Sheldons. Sheldons are superior to hounds. Have a longer range. As we click here, Sheldons with a range of 850 as opposed to the 650 of the hound. But for Xfactor, not knowing that this army is on its way in, this is the wrong time to be moving off those termites. He only just sees them there, but I don't know if he's actually able to see them. Not only that, we have an air transported welder coming from downtown. It's starting to hit that economy. That's a bit of a ballsy play here. I don't know if that was the right unit to transport, but it will not manage to get that. It just shows the damage that the air transports are able to do by just transferring stuff. And also you can see how well these welders are dealing with these termites combined with obviously the other units, but surprisingly he pushed on the same hill there rather than up here. I think his plan is to obviously try and move like this and then up there, but it's not going to happen. Actually, this termite doesn't even get anywhere. Yeah, this is not looking good for Xfactor. I'm not sure what he's planning. Oh, he's interesting. Xfactor now completely removing his Tech 2 lab again. And is going very heavy into defenses here. He's got some pop-ups. I don't quite know what his plan is here. Giving up it on more and more terrain here. And look at the metal produced. It's just such a vast difference. The Resbot's being transported onto this high ground here. Now it's going to get access to 4.7k metal. And that is a tremendous amount of metal. And Slow basically uncontested at this point. Surprisingly, that Slow hasn't actually reclaimed all of these Tech 1 Solars. But he has so much metal right now, he just needs more build power. He's really lacking on build power. Got this bot lab here, not really doing anything. And now he's starting to reclaim them. But he's going to start overflowing metal if he's not careful. I think he might be, actually. If we look here, metal excess, Slow only 605. 100k metal produced. Xfactor 85. not really had much in the way of excess. But still, it's still anyone's game. But let's be honest, Slow is in pretty strong point now. Not only that, but a Tech 2 artillery has now been built with a very long attack range on this high ground. Say goodbye to this chokehold that he's managed to build in the middle here. Xfactor must be planning some form of air attack here. It's the only thing I can think of. Maybe some dragons. He's building up a fighter force here in order to defend the dragons, to shield the dragons a bit when they go in. But this has got to be his play here. He's actually built his own Tech 2 artillery. There we go. And here come the dragons. Dragons being built here. These will... I'd be interested to see what he's going to do with this. He's got two options. He either A, just kind of goes like this and goes into the base of Slow and just does as much damage to the base as he can. Which would probably be one of the best choices. Or he uses it like down here and like takes out that entire army. He could also do a substantial amount of damage to the stuff up here. Which would kind of tilt the game back in Xfactor's favor. The issue with Xfactor attacking the base is that there is still this entire rest of the map full of units here that are very much ready to go and attack Xfactor. And if all of his forces are just in that attack, which is these two dragons, then that does become a bit of a problem. Pop-up defenses will do fairly well, and he's also building mines. But I think Xfactor's going for a bit of a Hail Mary play at the moment. This is all he's having to do. The fact that you can see him reclaiming destruction turrets and anything he can in order to get metal back just shows how desperate he is for metal right now. And here he goes. What vision does he have of his opponent right now? He knows there's a big chunk of anti-air up there. Are you really sending them straight down the middle? No, nothing yet. Build more scouts. Okay, let's see what the plan is. Tech 2 fighters are also being built now by Slow. Slow has an idea of what's going on. Xfactor now able to see a bunch of flak has already gone up. Don't get me wrong, dragons aren't great versus flak, but here comes Slow's scout though. Oh, the dragons have already been spotted. Will be enough of a fighter force to deal with all of Slow's fighters, but there are so many air defenses units there. But dragons are great, but are they going to be able to deal with that many? No. One dragon already destroyed. Second dragon does manage to make it into the base, but gets stuck on a flak, and the dragon goes down without accomplishing anything, and all of the air superiority fighters of Xfactor have now been annihilated. And what is Xfactor's play now? Xfactor attempting to build an advanced fusion. At this point, I'm surprised that Slow doesn't just go in. I mean, the thing is that Slow has no vision, right? He has no idea what's going on up here. There's no radar. Like, he has no idea what Xfactor's up to. Now, here comes the scout to provide some clue. X-Factor's got nothing, really. You can tell that just looking at the army value. 530% too low. And Zlo, having enough, is decided to just build a Ballista here. It's ready to go. I mean, he could just push in with his units, but I'm guessing wanting to be cheesy here. On Ballista, fire. Interesting choice. You can see it basically can hit the entirety of X-Factor's base here. X-Factor would have also got a notification saying long-range plasma cannons have started targeting your units. He is rushing to get a shield built. If Slow loses this because X-Factor is able to build a nuke, I will find that very funny. Although that nuke has been spotted, so that happening is very unlikely. And we've already it doesn't matter. There's an anti-nuke already built with 2 missiles. So to try and save you guys some time, let's speed it up a little bit. With a shield built, Zlo is not going to be able to penetrate that with just 1 Ballista. And going at 2 times speed here, X-Factor has no units and no hope at all of being able to out-army. He could have used dragons and taken out the army on the bottom or something like that, but now with flax up everywhere, it's pretty much a GG for Zlo. I don't see any way, shape or form Zlo would lose this now. Mobile anti-nukes are around and in position, and he is hoping to overwhelm him with a sheer quantity of nukes. To be fair, that anti-nuke did only have, well, it's got 4 missiles now before even 1 nuke missile has been built. If X-Factor can maybe go for a bombing run and go to hit that anti-nuke, then maybe, but by minefield. I've not seen X-Factor play like this before. I don't know if it's just because it's this map or what, but he's just not built units. Well, this has got 5 now so far. And Tech 3 now also being built. 1 anti-nuke goes up. He's just trying to overwhelm the anti-nuke, which isn't going to be enough. And even the Tech 3 now has just arrived. That shield will whittle down fairly quickly if it's got the Tech 3 shooting at it as well. But Zlo in just such a strong position here, I don't know what he plans to do. Yeah, I don't think anti-nuke's going to be a problem. Oh, the nukes actually ended up getting EMP'd. Thing is, right, he could nuke this army. He could literally drop a nuke here and all of those Zeus's would be gone. Same with her on the bottom. Obviously he doesn't know the range of the anti-nuke. He's hoping for the base, but still. Yeah, exactly. But he doesn't know where the comm is. Not going to be a problem. Xfactor trying to just hold on. And you know what? Fair play to Xfactor for not giving up at this point. But Slow finally will have his nail in the coffin as the wave of units bomb come in. No close range nuke here. It could really screw him up if he just had a super close range nuke right here. Kill the whole army. But instead, still going for the base. The nukes go up, but it's not going to do anything as there's loads of anti-nuke. Come on, Slow, just go in. You got enough units. All of them. Oh, there is an anti-nuke there, actually. A mobile anti-nuke. Even the TAC nuke has been built in the middle. How many anti-nukes does this have left? 2. But with even a Titan now on the field, I somehow don't see how this is going to go anywhere. And there goes all the energy converters. Surely at this point Xfactor will call the GG, but no. There we go. Xfactor finally calls the GG. Slow just massively in control that game. It's kind of glad we speeded it up there at the end, because that was taking a while for Slow to finish it. This is the one thing with 1v1s, you never want to overestimate your opponent or underestimate your opponent, and that was definitely the case here. Slow was just not willing to take the risk of going in, but you can just see from the graphs a huge difference. Look at the active units. There was such a difference in unit count that I don't think there was a chance of Xfactor coming back at all after that, after he's just stopped building units for ages. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you guys next time.